They're passionate for something they don't know yet.
Okay.
They are excited. They are excited.
I think it's going to be pretty good.
Go embark on this journey.
And you're saying maybe one thing for the next 8 minutes, and you have to find new ways to make that interesting.
Like somebody who can't swim and is being thrown into deep water, you know. First of all, the choice of an opera is always determined by what kind of students do we have. What can they sing? You need to find the singers. So if you don't have the singers, you cannot do Così fan tutte, you have to do something else. And I do that with the colleagues. We always try to find the best product for what the singers can do. Then you start preparing the singers for auditions.
So for every role, there's a selection from the opera that is chosen that you would then perform in the audition, which happens in front of all of the voice faculty and then the opera director.
You did it well the first time. You got 7 or 8 minutes choreographic thing. You sing your song, and then I am starting to choose who I want, and I will always do that with my colleagues.
What you should do when you go into audition is you should know the whole opera. You should know what it is your character is doing. You should know how it ends up.
Hug, yeah, good, okay.
So we have been doing, until last week, we have been doing musical rehearsals. Now we are on the stage. And we rehearsed today the first 80 pages of the book. Clear? Mm-hmm. Ready to start?
Yeah.
Okay. Learning the opera means not only that they have to learn their own role. You are becoming one. So son donne, ma son tali. So son donne, one leg over the other. But they also have to learn the other roles. They don't have to memorize the complete other roles, and they don't have to be able to sing the other roles, but they have to know what's going on. And you walk to him there, and you say, "Cosa dici?" Because these girls shouldn't find out that you are saying that you are playing a game with them. They have to know.
Otherwise, end of opera.
If I say to you, "I love you," and I need to know whether you will say, "I love you too," "I hate you," or "Get the hell out of here." Or, yeah. And so then I know, as an actor, what I have to react to. And then you think, well, our performances are beginning of April, so we have an ocean of time. No, we don't.
Right now we're working in Prague now, so we need certain objects for rehearsal time and everything, but most of the set isn't going to go up until we move into Ardry.
Our stage here is about 1/3 the size of the stage of Ardry.
As of right now, we are at the point where we're working on gathering props, gathering furniture, making sure all of that kind of stuff is accurate to the time period.
The sound of the music fits the sound of the language. So we have an Italian coach, or when we do a German opera, we have a German coach.
I'm helping out this semester with the opera, and I'm helping with the Italian pronunciation. There's a lot more work to be done, of course. We're only in the initial stages. We're almost at the midpoint, of this rehearsal, but the opera singers are making a lot of progress.
The hardest part, I think, with incorporating the language to the music from those sessions with Matteo is
It could have been better, to be honest.
we talk through it without any rhythmical thing according to what Mozart
stress is on
wrote.
ta, because there's an accent on it. Nobile ta.
And so
for that.
putting it back into context with Mozart sometimes is very different. We never in my undergrad did the opera in the original language. The hardest part for me, I think, right now is just the memory, especially the Italian language. We are definitely getting the word stress and trying to sound much more authentic.
So, and then you both do ma son tali, son tali.
They do it most of the time in a language they don't speak.
There are definitely some that are really making good progress and who possess the musical and the linguistic abilities to excel. So.
Working like crazy, trying to memorize our lines and trying to memorize the translations and all the notes. And so it's a lot of pressure to really practice and to get everything down.
Don't underestimate the speaking of the language.
I design, and then I actually take care of the whole show as well. So I do all the building and gathering and all of that good stuff.
Goes at 7 for all of the shows.
Does that make sense?
Most of the show has been pulled from opera and theater stock, because again, we work really closely with the theater department.
I think it's fine because I think it points out the.
I haven't gone in for my fitting yet. What they did for the principal female characters was order in a lot of things from other places, and they're gonna come in sometime, I'm sure, before we begin staging on Ardrey stage. I know that the chorus has been in and the men have been in to try on their things.
My assistant Stephanie and I have been working on it, shopping on the internet, pulling things like that since about December.
Hey guys! Thank God.
And some shoes.
You go in for your first one, it takes maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes depending, and they just take your measurements to make sure that they can pull the right clothing for you.
Yeah, check. White shirt. Check. We're getting really creative. We're using a lot of modern clothing that we're adjusting to make into period clothing. And I found them yesterday, and I was like... And, it's always a good challenge of, seeing how much you can get done in a short amount of time, because there's a lot of people. It's a big show. It's not a big show, but it's double cast. You got to find stuff for 2 casts as opposed to 1, which can be challenging.
Nylons would be great, yes. Great, smooth.
And it's always really fun seeing it, and it's nice when you can do it with another person, so you get to see what they're doing too, and just see how it all works.
We started on Sunday with a load-in. We basically grabbed things from all around campus, brought them all into one area. We went to Proc now. We've got a storage unit on South Campus. And then day 2, we came in yesterday, and it was a lot of figuring out what we have and what we don't have. There's a lot of scrambling to catch up with where we needed to be. Right now, we're working on installing all the doors in their flats so that we have that ready to go. And that takes a lot of tweaking just because flats aren't, door frames in a house. They're flats that are maybe built the right way, maybe not built the right way. They've got tweaks in them, they're old, they could not be square anymore. So it takes a lot of finessing.
All working very hard, and and I think they're doing a great job. originally we wanted to do it in the set that we had 5 years ago. But the set that we had 5 years ago had to be rebuilt. And 5 years ago there was space here where we could rebuild a complete set. And a part of the set was ready. We could store it in the space of the orchestra pit. But that has all changed because Artery has been renovated.
How's it feel? I mean, the list that I have of things to do is much longer than it should be. A big part of what happened yesterday was coming in, getting NAU used to what's happened, the lights, the curtains, everything. The lighting is good. It worked out a lot better than we had hoped. At this point, we are about 75% of the way done, but only because all of the things that we have left are small, nitpicky sort of things.
So that's where he wants the second floor.
If you only build doors, you don't build the wall between the doors. So you have to do something with lights and with curtains or with rugs or whatever. You have to fantasize. And fantasizing is always fantastic in theater. Now this is the kitchen door. The kitchen door is a swing door. But please don't use it as a swing door today, because then the whole set will fall apart, because it's still in the making. We are ready for the final round of rehearsals, and the final round of rehearsals will be the heaviest rehearsals of everything we've been done before. Because tomorrow they have to be trained for the orchestra, and the orchestra has to be trained for us. I mean, they had never come through these French doors, and so they have to get used to that. First day in this new theater and under these new circumstances, it was not a bad show at all. So now we have to get it fine-lined with the orchestra. Directors never think that they have enough time. And never forget that we are as good as our singers are, and as good as the orchestra is. We are a school.
Great. It's coming together beautifully. Okay, again, più staccato, più staccato, più staccato.
So now we have to get it fine-lined with the orchestra.
Almost everything. We've gathered almost everything. We're still working on a couple of them.
Just put your t-shirt on. So,
right before we do our dress rehearsal, and it's just kind of the finishing touches, getting your accessories figured out. If there are any quick little minor alterations that they need to do for fitting purposes, they can do that.
the bow out just a little bit. It's a little crinkly.
Some of the chorus members have really easy costumes, so they'll be real quick, and we need to refit some of the principals with some of the alterations that we've done and stuff like that.
The major one I saw was when she put the key. She put it in her skirt.
We're pretty much we're going to try stuff on. We're going to do the alterations. We're going to put some labels in them, and then we're going to do the show.
This is the last activity without an audience. The whole rehearsal period has been a process of growing. Justin, will you please come in before Ecole? So, and you send them out. And they badly need an audience that reacts to what they're doing. And I don't mean laughing only, but also being moved or being excited or whatever. They pull themselves together. That's one of the miracles of theater. I mean, they need an audience. They have now been working this show and done it 10 or 20 times without an audience. They need an audience.
Yeah, as far as knowing the show goes, I feel way better. This last tech week was really important because with our staging rehearsals, we've only done chunks at a time, and it was never really running anything. We would run Act 1, and that's great. Act 1 is so comfortable because that's what we started with, and so it's been living with us longer. Act 2 is another story. It's much more fresh as far as the staging goes. But after having had 2 dress rehearsals, now I'm like, oh, I mean, I get it. Feeling the entrances, what everyone else is doing around you, because sometimes when you look at a role, you're just looking at your part, not necessarily the scenes that you're not in. And so I know a lot more overall context for the opera this way.
And at a certain moment, they are ready.
I mean, I think as a cast, we're all very much ready for having an audience. Having family in the audience makes it more nervous and more exciting at the same time. It's so nice to have someone to sing for who you know is really watching you and focusing on you. I would like to prove that, yes, my master's degree has really helped me improve my voice, and this is what I'm doing. I want it to be validated, by this performance. So that's a little nerve-wracking too, but it's also nice because they've seen where I came from, and so then they can see the progress of it. I'm excited for the weekend. I hope that we have good responsive audiences in all 3 of our performances, and that they really understand the story and sympathize with the characters and get into it.
This is the last rehearsal. Then we have a so-called dark day. Everybody rests. And then on Thursday morning, we have the school matinee, which is always our first performance, and it's a complete performance. And we will have about 500 to 550 young kids coming. And yeah, we have to start.
Okay.
you.